Tonight on the Rockbridge Report. The Virginia General Assembly slashed millions of dollars from its upcoming budget. See how these cuts hit close to home. Later, meet the man behind the local drug investigation. Hear why he started looking into drug use around Lexington. And learn more about Lexington's new police chief. All this and more coming up on the Rockbridge Report. Good afternoon and welcome to this week's edition of the Rockbridge Report. I'm Queenie Wong. We have team coverage tonight on how all three school systems in the area will deal with the recent budget cuts passed by the Virginia General Assembly. The Rockbridge County School District faces a $2.2 million budget reduction. Rockbridge reporter Ann Vasulis learned how the schools are going to handle the cutbacks.
The school board was able to make a lot of cuts. $645,000 come from cutting teaching positions. 5 positions at the high school, 3 in special education, 2 at the middle school level, 1 position at the elementary level, and 3 central office positions. A computer technology program at Rockbridge County High School will also be cut. In addition, the blow was softened by changes in state funding formulas. The school board met with the Board of Supervisors Monday night to try to figure out where to cut the remaining $250,000. The Rockbridge County School Board asked for support from the Board of Supervisors as they decide the fate of Effinger Elementary and Rockbridge Middle School. The school board is trying to avoid cutting programs or closing schools, but the supervisors are reluctant to provide that support.
I'm a little disappointed, to be very honest about it. I mean, I know they understand our situation. We understand theirs. We, as a school board, we're responding to what we've heard at public hearings and constituencies and trying to find a way to keep open 2 schools, at least for a year, for more planning purposes.
The school board has until April 29th to decide whether or not to close Effinger and Rockbridge Middle School and combine them with other schools.
We're not going to be combining schools if we cannot assure that we're going to upgrade those schools. I can't support that.
The school board must provide a final budget proposal to the Board of Supervisors by April 1st. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Ann Vasulis.
After the show, tune into the on-record portion of the Rockbridge Report with Rockbridge County Administrator Claire Collins to hear her speak more about the Board of Supervisors' stance on the school budget. Rockbridge County schools aren't the only ones faced with a reduced budget. The 4 schools in the Buena Vista school systems face shortfalls of over $1 million.
So when you think $1.5 million compared to what you hear from other school systems, that might not sound like much, but looking at even $1 million with an $11 million budget is huge.
The school board is currently trying to balance the budget without reducing salaries. Members of the PTA told school board members they would hold fundraisers to help pay for classroom materials. Any additional materials not covered by the reduced funds and PTA subsidies would be supplied by students. 2 teachers at Enderley Elementary School volunteered to job share, keeping those 2 teachers at the school but basically only paying 1 salary between them. Buena Vista school administrators also suggested raising tuition for non-residents by $100 a year. While teachers, faculty, and staff had multiple outlets to voice their opinions, some teachers found it hard to sit through a no-comment work session on Monday.
But they are legally allowed to have a work session with no public comment, and that's fine. We just want to make sure that everything that's done is in the best interest of the students, the staff, and the school system.
Students also had the opportunity to voice their opinions, providing the school board with additional ways to make cuts. 2 Buena Vista students currently sit on the school board. While Rockbridge County and Buena Vista cope with budget cuts, one school division is in better shape than it had originally thought. Rockbridge reporter Katie Geddes discovers how Lexington City Schools deal with the state budget cuts.
Lexington City Schools face a budget cut, but it's not as large as they expected it to be. That means class sizes will stay small, something that is a priority for the school board.
So we've gone back and we now have 4 second grade classes scheduled for next year as opposed to 3. So instead of having 21 in the class, we'll be back down to 15 or 16.
The schools are cutting back on school supplies, but not on their programs.
For as far as the number of course offerings and number of sections in each that we've had this year, it'll be pretty much the same next year.
Originally, the school board used former Governor Tim Kaine's budget to plan for next school year. That means more full-time teachers would have been reduced to part-time, and other positions would have been cut. Part-time Spanish teacher Frances Grice would have been one of them.
I was not certified as a teacher, so I've spent a lot of time getting certified, and to think, you know, that was all going to be gone was, you know, hard.
But the Lexington School Board is now basing its budget off of the General Assemblies, so it gets to keep close to $150,000. That means Grice gets to keep her job. But the Lexington school budget could be much different in the years to come.
I think it's important for people to remember that you know, while I think we're going to be all right next year, that they're already projecting a bigger deficit for the following year.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Katie Geddes.
Lions also praised parents and volunteers who voiced their concerns and contacted the local representatives about this issue. Last week, arts organizations across Virginia feared they would lose half of their state funding. The House of Delegates threatened to cut funding to the Virginia Commission for the Arts by 50% and eliminate the agency entirely by July of 2011. But on Sunday, the General Assembly passed its final budget, and the Arts Commission will lose only 16% of its funding, or about $1.3 million. Several local groups receive funding from the State Commission. Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, find out what a local official is doing to combat drug use and distribution in the area. But first, learn what's going on in the legal battle over Barger Quarry.
I wouldn't have been at this ceremony if I hadn't been at this ceremony first. Unfortunately, nearly 30% of U.S. high school students aren't making it to graduation, and every one of us, every parent, every friend, and neighbor, has the responsibility to provide the support and encouragement they need to make it through, because we all need to see a lot more of these pictures.
I'm lucky. Let me help you with that. I get to do something I love. It has nothing to do with touchdowns or titles. Everybody bring it in. I get to play a part in the life of someone just starting out. How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork? I help keep kids in school. Good. And that's the name of the game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United.
The judge in the Barger Quarry trial has delayed closing arguments for 2 weeks and moved the trial to Botetourt County. Last week, both sides finished presenting evidence in the case. Closing arguments have been scheduled for March 22nd in Fincastle, and the judge has 90 days after that to reach a verdict. The lawsuit pits residents of Old Farm Road against the Board of Supervisors. The residents are suing over a rezoning permit the supervisors issued to Chuck Barger in 2007. If the residents win the suit, Barger would have to reapply for a rezoning permit. But if the supervisors win, Barger will be able to expand his quarry, putting it within 100 feet of some homes. As Rockbridge area law enforcement officials crack down on drugs, one Lexington police officer discusses how the investigation started. Rockbridge reporter Caroline Helms finds out why now.
Officer Ronald D. Condry, who works the night shift for the Lexington Police Department, is a main driving force behind the recent increase in drug enforcement. The 18-month investigation that has led to multiple arrests stemmed from an increase in the number of narcotic-related materials Condry found while on traffic duty.
Every time we would stop somebody, we would find a pipe, a one-hitter, a bowl, a little bit of residue, a joint, a quarter ounce, and it just became repetitive.
Specific traffic stops led the police to other drug activity around the city.
We will just use one traffic stop in particular that became, I call it the snowball effect, and from that one traffic stop loomed a extensive investigation.
Officer Condrey said Lexington is not a hub for drugs, but he is dedicated to seeing drug use decrease in the city.
I can't make it any clearer. If you're going to deal, buy, or use in this city, I'm going to get you.
Because the police have been able to get information faster than they thought they would, Condrey believes they'll wrap up the investigation soon.
It was an 18-month investigation with as much detail that we put into it on every step of the way. It seems that it's going to be a very short run.
However, Condrey made it clear that even when this investigation is over, he will still be on the lookout for drug activity.
There's going to be a continued drug investigation. It has to. You can't stop.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Caroline Helms.
Lexington police have a drug task force that referred all questions about this case to Officer Condrey. Local residents may soon find themselves dining with people who carry guns. The Virginia General Assembly has passed a bill that would allow licensed gun owners to stay armed even in restaurants and bars, as long as they don't consume any alcohol. Violators would be charged with a Class 2 misdemeanor, which could mean up to 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine. The bill has been sent to Governor McDonnell, who is expected to make his decision in the next few weeks. Later in the show, we'll give you your 5-day forecasts. But first, find out what people are saying about Lexington's new police chief.
Hey!
Ready to go?
Yeah, but the fire's not out.
Close enough.
Huh. Close enough? If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. I mean, the next thing you know, you've torched our whole neighborhood.
Which is why we're not going anywhere?
Exactly. 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Es un gran día para los deportes. Vaya festín de jugadas que tenemos.
Mucha acción, David, por eso nos vamos directamente a la pelota. Es el duelo padre-hijo en el jardín. Batazo al jardín derecho, ¡no! Y se cayó.
Se cayó, pero bueno, ahí va, ahí va, ahí va.
Nos vamos ahora al básquet, 2 contra 1.
Y la clava. Solita, la clavó.
Y ahora el fútbol. Ahí está papá,
solo,
que la pase.
Solo.
Lo va a definir, golazo. Estas son escenas que no se repiten. Las mejores jugadas suceden en casa.
Tómate el tiempo para ser un buen papá.
It's a great day, isn't it? Yeah. Too bad your boat's gonna sink at 11:05.
Don't come closer. I have rabies. Don't you wish there were warnings to protect you from life's risks? With diabetes, there is one. It's called A1C, a simple blood test that helps measure your risk of serious complications. Learn more at diabetesaonc.org.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today.
Drivers on Interstate 81 can now go faster than usual. The speed limit on rural interstate highways will be increasing to 70 miles per hour, up from 65 miles per hour. The Virginia General Assembly approved Governor Bob McDonnell's proposal last week. One of McDonnell's campaign promises was a boost in interstate speed limits, and he made the increase one of his top priorities when he arrived in the office this January. Virginia is the 34th state to boost interstate speed limits to 70 miles per hour or above, according to the Wall Street Journal. Lexington's new police chief came to town today to prepare to take over his duties on April 5th. Rockbridge reporter Katie Sheeler finds out why many people think he'll be a good fit for the community.
Alfred S. Thomas Jr. of Lynchburg will take over as Lexington police chief on April 5th.
He has been with the Lynchburg Police Department for 20 years and held several positions, including lieutenant, captain, and chief staff officer. His previous experience and his enthusiasm for the job convinced the city manager that Thomas would be a good fit for Lexington.
I want him to try to come in and meet the people in the community, get a feeling for what the community wants, and lead the police department in that direction.
Thomas is pleased about receiving the new position and eager to begin working with the police force and the community.
What I'm going to do now is look for opportunities to enhance what we're already doing, to enhance our community policing efforts.
City officials say Thomas will offer a new viewpoint, and that is something the Lexington Police Department needs.
I think that he'll bring a new set of eyes and perspective to look at the way we're handling things through the police department in the city of Lexington.
He's had command experience in the city of Lynchburg. Most likely, had he stayed there, would eventually be the police chief there, I think. He's very, very sharp. He's somebody I think will fit in well in Lexington.
The panels that interviewed Thomas like that he has experience in a college community because Washington and Lee and Virginia Military Institute are such large parts of Lexington.
He's worked closely with Liberty University. The police chief there is a friend of mine, told me that he was a very, very strong candidate and a good guy to work with.
We're here to serve the public, and I want to make sure that all officers understand how important that is.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Katie Sheeler. Thomas will be moving to Lexington with his wife and 2 children in the coming weeks. Until then, Lieutenant Bucky Miller will remain acting chief. Thomas is attending his first Lexington City Council meeting tonight. The new police chief is coming to the Rockbridge area just in time for some great weather. Here's your 5-day forecast. Tonight, expect clear skies with temperatures going down to 40 degrees. Get out your sunscreen. Friday will kick off the weekend with sunny skies and a high of 71 degrees, with temperatures going down to 43. The warmth will continue on Saturday, bringing the highs all the way up to the low 70s. Again, the lows will go down to 48 degrees. Put away your sunglasses on Sunday because it's expected to rain. Sunday's highs will be 65 degrees and the low will go down to 43 degrees. Monday will begin the week with partly cloudy skies with a high of 51 degrees and a low of 33. After the show, watch the on-record portion of the Rockbridge Report with County Administrator Claire Collins. But first, see how a W&L organization celebrates and empowers women this week.
The hurricane has passed, but the recovery won't be complete until all the water has receded. If you're having trouble coping, Trained and Caring Help is waiting.
Hola, Grover, what are you doing?
Oh, I am making my emergency kit. I want to be prepared just in case.
Oh, my friend Mia made a kit with her family. Everyone help! They packed flashlights and batteries, water, food, a radio, and put it where they could find it rapidamente, quickly.
I guess I should take my canoe out of there, huh?
Look, Grover.
Help your family get ready for an emergency. Learn more at ready.gov/sesame.
A women's group at Washington and Lee loves their bodies, and they want you to love yours too. Knowledge Empowering Women Leaders, or COOL, is sponsoring the 3rd annual Love Your Body Week on the W&L campus. Part of this campaign is a post-secret wall based off the popular blog where people mail in secrets written on one side of a postcard. There's also the Clothesline Project, where survivors of violence made and hung t-shirts with personal messages attached. All we have for you today. Thanks for tuning into the Rockbridge Report. Check us out online at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. Stay tuned for the on-record portion of the Rockbridge Report, where Caroline Helms interviews Claire Collins.